survival, offline. Now, I find times 3 to be very easy. Times 10 is usually what I go for, but for this, we go times 5. As well, times 3 will lock inventory. And then I know no one likes the slow level grinder, we keep those a bit higher. Normal amount of asteroids, normal amount of encounters. I'm going to go inside. I think this is 20. That. 2 hours per day. Different objects. Counting that. We are not in them. So I'm going to turn that off. No blockades. I don't plan that feature at all. Victor told me to allow so that we can do something with the base. Engage kept or used. Erase your key as is. Now for mods, generally I do play a bit of modded, and especially with AQD blocks of my knives, as well as a few other quality of life mods. As you will see, I'm only having a few really quality of life. Now, mid-game prototype is a building material that I found, which actually places prototype as a much easier thing to find during the gameplay. Now, rendering improved just adds to a visuals. We'll test out how dark this gets and see if this working. Small static bits I will maybe update it on. As well as some of these other things. This one, the level for the control system, I will add some sort of element for division from the level. Star system model performs as usual, and we will be downloading the mods and starting up. Now for this series, I'm not going to do the usual spawn on Earth or Mars. I'm actually going to look at spawning on a moon, as starting on a moon allows you to have a much better rover or ship. Alternatively, we can always try using the space pod, as you will see in a bit. So we are not going to use the Mars or Earth-like pod, as these ones aren't really needed. Alien drop pod, I haven't played on this one yet, but I don't really think it's worth it for this run through. Titan is a moon, but it's mainly ice if I recall, and it's not a good idea, as well as Europa. The moon is actually the very best, and as you can see, it's the only one that offers us a rover with wheels. Then the space pod is another good option, as it gives you ion at the beginning, as well as a area that is fully insulated, as well as large grid blocks, including a hydrogen engine. Now, this only has one O2H2 generator if I recall, which is not really the best. So usually I play with the Moondrop pod, as it has the thrusters that you can use, and especially the hydrogen one on the moon. You can use it to start off on the moon and fly all the way to Earth, using the atmospheric thrusters to help you glide this around almost like a helicopter. I've done this multiple times in previous worlds where I've played with friends, where I would spawn on the moon to get platinum early on so that we can get iron as fast as possible. Now this is a nice rover to have, and it's definitely going to be easier to find ice and other resources with this one. Now first off, as we spawn in, it spawns you inside of a rover, usually with a seat or something else. I'm holding Alt so that I can toggle this. Usually I press tab a few times until it doesn't show any of the lettering at the bottom. G is for your toolbar config. When you're in a cockpit, press F to exit. V is for third person. We're going to open our inventory, and as you can see here, this is now the amount of space credits we get, 10,000 as a beginning. We have 2,000 liters of storage on ourselves, so we can gather a reasonable amount of stone. Up here at the top, remote access. Now, if your grid has a antenna, a remote control, but the ownership is correct. You can take control, or you can access a terminal, accessing the blocks. We go back in our inventory. No connected inventories means we are not connected to a ship. This is especially helpful when accessing other ships. If we go, for example, here to the back by the survival kit, we can open it, and now you can see we can toggle the entire inventory of the ship. It does start us off with a bit more ice than it would on Earth, which is quite nice. And the first thing we are going to do is just go to the O2H2 generator on the side, as bottles cannot pass through small grid conveyors, and we are just going to take out 2 bottles. This will help us to keep our oxygen high as well as our hydrogen, allowing us to fly. If we quickly tab a bit, you can see X activates our jetpack, allowing us to fly. L is for lights, and O is to broadcast, meaning you can pick up on signals. If we press O and go back into remote access, you can now see we have our player antenna off, meaning you cannot control the grid remote. We will keep that one on for now, as we're not stressed about power. As we view here, you can see the rover has some lights. It starts off with some wheels. If we take out the grinder, you can see this has large steel tubes, and this has some metal grids, those can be used as well. These are all components that you can craft in the production screen. Now, the survival kit can only do like the very basics of resources. Something very important is ingots. We take stone and we refine it. Usually, if you press Control, it's 10, Shift is 100, and Shift, Control and Shift 1000. Now, this will allow us, whenever we have stone in the inventory of a survival kit, to process it. Next up, we have equipment, and this starts you off with a flare gun and a data pad. This is not very useful. There's other equipment that you unlock later on. Now, tools, since we have a paint gun mod, it allows you to make that. This is a great use for gravel, a grinder, a hand drill, welder. You can make an S10 pistol, and as well as the S10 pistol magazine. Now, in our inventory, we have a grinder, a hand drill, and a welder. This spawns in each time naturally when you play, regardless of if you are alive or dead. To use any tool, you press left click. For the welder, right click doesn't do much. Since we are using this, you can select Control and aim at a block to lock a block or detach it. And with a drill, there's a right click, it clears out a larger area as opposed to left click, which takes out a small area. C is to crouch, so let's for now go here, crouch, go down, and as you can see, now whilst we drill, there are resources that are dropping. I'm pressing F as is shown on the tooltip to collect these resources. We are just going to collect a few inventory for now.
Inventory full.
meaning you cannot pick up any more items, so your amount of capacity or volume you have is full. Now, there's two options of depositing. You can either click drag, you can press Alt and middle mouse button. Shortcut is Alt, middle mouse button, as you can see here as well. Alt and middle mouse button is depositing ores, ingots and components. Now, majority has gone into the cockpit as our storage. There is supposed to be a small cargo container, but the cockpit in this case takes over for that. The stone gets into the survival kit, which finds it to grab iron, nickel, and silicon. We need to aim at getting a few plates, computers, extraction components, displays, and printers. On our hotbar, you have up to 9. And if you press G outside of inventories, it opens up the build menu. Now, I do not have all the DLCs. If you pause the game, you can see them here. Meaning, I cannot access many of these blocks yet. Eventually, I am hoping that we can achieve all of these blocks. And you might be wondering, why is some of the blocks not highlighted or dull? Now, there's a tab here at the top for blocks and progression. By progression, you can see a basic assembler. This is the first block that you usually try and build. A basic assembler requires 80 computers, 4 displays, 10 motors, 40 construction components, and 80 steel plates. We are going to add it to our build planner. We are also going to make a few more light armor blocks, and they only require steel plates, as I can show you here. 25, but you can use only one, and it will have a construction state, which I will show shortly. Then, the next component that we need to make or device is a refinery. The basic refinery is an onset into gathering resources with an ore detector, a drill, assemblers, etc. This refinery requires 10 computers, 10 motors, 20 construction components, and 120 steel plates. We will add it as well. Now, on a planet we can use wind turbines. Since we are in a moon, we cannot use wind turbines, we need to use solar panels or hydrogen. If we look at solar panels, they require bulletproof glass, which we cannot obtain in a survival kit. But solar cells, computers, girders, construction components, and steel plates. We will be adding these 3. Going here and searching for a battery, you can see a battery is locked behind a basic assembler, as you need to make a battery component or power cells, which are only accessible through a basic assembler. So we are now going to go here, and these buttons are drop, withdraw, deposit, and add components from build planner to production queue. This is a very important button. This allows us to automatically put whatever is in our build planner into the production queue, which is this icon here, or area here. Now, we can either click here, or as the tooltip says, shift this button. You see one component's going to into production, that is the bulletproof glass. Now we are going to move things around so that the fastest components produce first, or the least amount produce first. Survival kit, you can always go here towards English, which is written in a way. You can press F to replenish your oxygen, power, and health. Optionally, put it in a seat, and we can always recharge from here. Now, this rover can still drive around a bit, which is frustrating to say the least. all that we are going to do is drive it closer to our area that we are mining. And we are going to stop. We're going to press P to pause. Now that we are producing a few more resources, we are out. We are going to continue with drilling. For this role, to turn on the lights and light crouching down the bit. As you can see, we are now going down. This is so that now we can just double click the left mouse button and do not need to continue.
Inventory full.
Stop. We're going to stand up, and we are just going to run back. Middle mouse button. Continuing to collect the stone.
Inventory full. 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 Inventory full.
What we were supposed to do in the second episode already. Just finish collecting all the stone.
Inventory full.
As it defines, we can just continue.
Inventory full.
Now the sun is at least open. Deposit as many of the resources now as it will take. And we are going to be flying up. Looking down as well. So now I'm facing backwards as this game uses a 360-degree movement. And as you can see in this area, which I still struggle a bit with, there is an ore vein in that spot. And now we can go with a drill in our hand as equipped. Making sure our speed is not too fast. As we can see, there is nickel here. Now ore veins on the moon are usually annotated by this yellow streak. And now we have two options. We can go to GPS and say new from our current position, rename to moon, which I will mark like that, and call this nickel, or a chemical symbol for it. This will now constantly show a blue signal here unless we switch it off. Back to GPS to ensure our respawn pod shows at all times. And we go up again. observe the area around the pod, as this will be our building area as it's nice and flat. And some of you may be frustrated in seeing some of these spots which I am easily missing. I think that is another patch. Yes it is. Let's go here. And as you can see, usually on the moon, nickel and platinum spawn very close together. Now the second way to create a GPS marker is by Alt, Enter, /GPS, and now we can annotate the resources. First thing, it is the moon, the first resource, and the second one. Enter, this now automatically makes one. Now that we have a better vein, just platinum, we can take this first one and we can hide it. By keeping the second one, we know where to find platinum and we know where to find nickel. Always remember with a drone, it has a 15-meter detection radius roughly, or 100 meter in this case. At the end of the day, we are looking to see if we can find another yellow patch that says iron or cobalt. Iron is a fundamental resource and we will be needing millions of it. Magnesium is a nice one to have, but cobalt is needed to make thrusters and metal grids, and this helps us to make more storage options, especially when we are on the moon like this. We cannot use atmospheric thrusters, we can try and use ion, but preferably we want to use hydrogen. Hydrogen is the easiest to obtain here, and if we go high enough, we will not be able to see many veins of ice. I'm assuming that has the most amount of ice, and now I can show how spectator camera works. There you go. And ensure that you're safe, you're doing well, and we press F8. It spawns you into spectator. We will not be using the control and space to teleport the character, as that one is a bit cheating. The mouse button does nothing but shift plus the middle mouse button scrolling up increases our speed, and it can go up until about 8,000 meters or 8,000 times. When you hold shift, you increase your speed a bit more, and now we are going to ensure we are here by our pod. Now if we look in the direction that I stated, which is over here, we can check out. It does not appear that this has ice in this area. Ice is usually marked by bluish lines. And if we now follow through with the sun, as you can see, we are already 5 kilometers away. And we still have not seen any ice at this point, leading to some concerns if this is going to be an easy playthrough. We do however see a few more ore veins. If we zoom out a bit or go out a bit more, we can see that there is really not a lot of ice on the side of a planet. This annotates that somewhere along that side, or the other side of this moon is where the ice should be. If we speed up a bit, as I have said, here is some of the ice, so we know the ice is about 10 kilometers away, which is not too bad in this case. We can always just come here with a rover or whichever device or craft, get some ice, return back to base. Now the fast way is you can either fly back or you can just press F6. Flying back allows us to know where your spectator camera is, being close to us. Now we are going to check here again. We are going to stone back again. As we can see, a few more resources that should have been built or showing up, which means it means that we have accidentally doubled the amount of resources that ought to be built. We can take them down. Just add in these few more resources. can now see we have enough silicon. We do not yet have enough nickel for everything. And we do not have enough iron. Now I have to make steel plates, so we break off a bit first. As you can see, they take up the majority of the amount of iron. Now that we have that, go to the inventory, take out some of the iron, and now we're getting into a build system. This shows a toolbar. I'm pressing tab so it doesn't show that nonsense. And you can either build in the sky, scroll wheel is to move the blocks further or closer, and now this snaps to the local grid. Shift and page down is to, or there's 6 buttons. As you can see on the top right, allows you to rotate. I'm not going to focus on that as much. I just want to get this placed in a way that makes sense. Now our first few blocks are going to be placed just here, in a range of 4 blocks. Our assembler, if you look at the block, has this window, has this side with a port with some lines, as you can see, and that blue icon. Now that is the access point on the side. It doesn't have anything else on the other sides, and we are just going to take it, place it so that this port is facing here. Next up, number 6, the refinery. There's nothing on the top half of this block. That is decoration. It does show a light there at the very top, that white bit, allowing us to see if a block is powered. It has a cargo access, which is this yellow bar, alongside this, or the conveyor access. The side has nothing, same with this side. The back side has another port with one of those blue control panels. We're going to place it in one of these 2 directions onto this. Then we are going to see, can we place a block here at the top? No, we cannot. We're going to be building out this, our solar panel, and we're going to be rotating it this way. Now it's all with clicking on this block and going with the middle mouse button, starting to input the components. As you can see, we only need computers to build the solar panel. And now this is going to generate power as soon as the sun is back. We just need steel plates now. We're going to cancel the rest of these things and we need steel plates to be made. As we can see here, steel plates, and glass. We're going to leave it out and just continue inside of the line of the rest of the system. Since the day is 2 hours long, we are running, especially as slow start. As soon as we have a task place, with either a few robots or
Inventory full. 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 Inventory full.
Depositing resources again. And the click here when I deposit the components is just the ingots being crafted again. As you can hear, the system is active and we continue. Out some steel plates. As we mine in the
Inventory
next
full.
week, which I'm hoping for, we will be looking around for a few more ores. Now I am taking a week per video. The way I'm recording it is just in the game. I will record, I will record it in that session.
Inventory
Do not be
full.
afraid to comment down below, as I would highly appreciate it. Any idea you give will be valuable. It will also be inspiration as to what to build or do in this series. Once again, if you enjoyed this video, enjoyed the content, hope to see you. Like the video, subscribe to my channel if you really think it's worth your time.
Inventory full. 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 Inventory
Building
full.
various types of ships and crafts. As you can see, each time I'm buying and my inventory is getting more full than usual, it is due to the entirety of the sleeve. Now the way this is set up is to currently use 2 plates, then when the ingots are in front, the steel plates will take these they will be made last. Picking up your inventory is the fastest way to access your inventory of a specific bag or object. And now, as you can see, our assembler is done. We only need to build it up until the functional line on the right. I mean, 20 steel plates are not needed in this case. I like to do this. As you can see, at the top right there is integrity. That number is just how tough this block is and how long it has before it gets damaged. Now we can start
Energy
assembly
low.
on the refinery, and when you check the assembler and now production, we need to now move some of that stone or resources, especially the ingots, into this assembler. This assembler can then take those and make these components at a much faster speed. We now have access to large steel tubes, medical components, metal grids, bulletproof glass, detector components, power cells, radio components, and small steel tubes. Radio components and detector components are not needed at this moment. Power cells are needed for a battery. Large steel tubes are needed for a lot of building blocks. Look at equipment, we can now make fireworks, which are not needed. Canvases, which is for a parachute so you do not crash easily. We do not need those either, but now oxygen and hydrogen bottles we can make. We now have an upgraded assembler. We can make up until the enhanced level of tools, and the next level of assembler will be able to make the next 2 tiers of tools. We have a bit more weapons, a bit more ammo we can make. Just need to recharge our suit a bit. And I will be showing you how to speed up these processes, especially later on. As you can see, since we're parked, we can move the wheels, but we cannot increase our speed. I will be adding a few more gyros as the ship does control slightly worse with only the 1 gyroscope. Now, any conveyor ore, especially like these small ones, can accept ores. See the completion. We should now have a bit more it's done. Because we can get crafted as well as mining a bit more stone. I will eventually, in my subscribers, and still have to back to the survival series. I took a break from Minecraft ever since it dropped, as it does make updates to the mods and all that.
Inventory full. 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 Inventory full.
If you have any suggestions on a build series or a live build show, you can suggest a ship shape. I will be trying to emulate that shape into that specific ship
Inventory
that we can
full.
build together. Those videos, I will be seeing if I do voiceovers, and they will also take separate places or
Inventory full.
benefits over the normal series, leading to the series only being posted once or twice a month, which totally depends on your guys and how you guys enjoy the series. Plates again. More. And notice how you can put things in even if it doesn't add to the build. Body does definitely. Once again, now we are at iron, we are going to prioritize a bit more stone. Transfer over the stone we have with that gun. And we are continuing the mining. The purposes of
Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full.
just so that we can start setting this up. Now in Space Engineers there are a few more types of resources. Silver and gold are especially valuable, and we will have to look into finding some of those. If we can find gold early on, it does help us a bit more in our space travel, but silver especially allows us to do a lot more, including more survival kits, upgraded form of survival kit, which allows you to heal faster, and just note the silver does replace the survival kit in terms of producing resources or components. You can now no longer access this until the basic assembly is done. If we are lucky, if we look through here, we can slightly still access. In this control panel, it shows the solar panel is built with maximum of 160 kilowatts that it can output. Now, if you press Alt F10, brings this menu, creative mode tools to help you do these things. Invulnerability, untargetable, show all players, can use all terminals. This one isn't even really needed as I'm playing single player. And various things here as well as mod settings with production quota, as well as mod that will show, and now time of day. If we pull this slider along, as you can notice now, the sun has moved, and I'm going to move it to be slightly lower. This is the only time I will be doing this, and just to show you how you fix it. The solar panel is in full contact with this. It is actually gaining power. The green light there allows us to see the refinery is up and running. You can hear the assembly as well. We know the solar panel is generating, so we can take some stone. Now we can input the stone into this refinery. This refinery requires a lot more power, so for now it won't really work. Precaution, let's go to the G menu, such as solar panel. there, select, shift with the mouse button, input and reduce it. Now we can take a second one, place it on the original one, start welding it up. Resources as possible. Select some of them. And now we can just add onto the solar panel. Let's quickly mine some more stone.
Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full.
I will see to hosting a server that majority of us can play on. We can join on, and then we can look into hosting the community. I am quite limited time on my computer, especially in terms of RAM, which I am looking into upgrading, as currently my main PC has 16 gigabytes of RAM instead of 52, and I am hoping to be able to upgrade this amount by the end of this month or next month. It's functional. Remove it temporarily from the build timer, as it's just going to take up unnecessary space. Now we can move stone here. I really hope that this now actually produces some things. I think it may actually require another block. Yes, as we are generating here, we have a total of 280 kilowatts available. Let's put up another solar panel.
Energy low.
Those components. Quickly heal up. I'm thinking about this area, especially here in front of assembler, up until that block, we can maybe build a garage for this rover or whichever rover we plan on using. Components, I'm going to grab stone, as especially once enough power, a lot more of this.
Inventory full.
For a moon miner that I like. And the ones that I have are mainly aimed at other worlds where I have the ability to build a bunch of ships. Again, it's running, so move it. It's not generating power as well. It's actually now we have reached a pivotal point. In this playthrough, where resource mining becomes a lot. Ideally, I would want to go before we turn off, but I think with the time that we allow for that, we will have to go to
Inventory full. Inventory full.
computer I have as well, I forgot to add this. He's running with a Ryzen 7 7700, so it's M5, which is the latest system, which I quite enjoy. And the graphics card is a RTX 6600 GPU with 8 GB of RAM, so it's not typical. I have
Inventory full. 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 Inventory full.
Most of the time, we see people just hammering onto the wall, so you not care about resources. What I tend to do, as you can see, everything is just coming around. I can go through and mine down, create a low spot here in the middle. Which will cause all of these to slowly, gradually also get to the center.
Inventory full.
Also in this game, stone is a prerequisite. It helps you out at the start. It allows you to gather more of basic resources. As we have seen with the nickel vein, or with that condensate nickel, we can actually find that specific metal or for this metal in that spot. As well with platinum, which is actually one of the most underrated and favorite ores to get. And one ore I forgot to mention, as it's even more rare than platinum, is uranium, which is only findable on Astro. Enough silicon for that to take this on. Now, since the grid is using more power than we're generating, to switch into each block, one block uses less power. 80 power cells to craft the battery, which is our next block. Since I have a prototype, as you can see, prototype blocks don't require prototype components. Instead, they take normal ones with explosives. Battery is 80 power cells, 25 computers, and 30 construction components, and that is still case. I like to have more computers available, as they do allow you to be able to save up and use a lot of those resources. Let's make a few of the steel plates first. And this spot makes sense. Here at the top. Now, click on the battery and we can just pull the resources out. House also generally heavier than it's supposed to be, otherwise it will block it difficult to access. We need a lot more iron. to go and collect a lot more.
Energy low.
Let's recharge our suit. My apologies for becoming a lot more quiet during this part, as this is usually the part where you just want to be quiet, mine a bit, and then post it, or try and place as many blocks as possible, as well as resources to be gathered. Closer to the amount of power cells. Let's see if we can make these 8 construction components. This assembly type allows us to take apart a few of these steel plates one by one until the resources are returned back into its inventory. In this case, I do not know what is going on for me to not do this. I'm assuming that it's the lack of power leading to it. Looking at the solar panels again. We are now below the refining amount. These solar panels are not receiving the amount of power they should be. This means with the 4th one, for the time being, I am going to be using the solar panel key. Else we can do this time. So goes there, grabbing our suitcase. So we will not be needing those back anymore. And we can plan. If we take this as our outside wall, we want to go out. Have a block here. 3 blocks. Again. So an out wall. This will be our garage. We'll be placing a few special blocks in there that allows us to go in and out. This will be our production area, so this is going to be more of a habitat or livable zone. We'll change the type of block with the mouse button. Pressing B whilst hovering allows you to place a block onto the existing grid. We go out like this. In a few, out a few. Finish off as part of a skeleton. will be our first habitat. Now I'm going to measure out those 3 blocks just temporarily. Place in some of these blocks to see our habitat. Now something I like doing is
Energy
taking these
low.
from a section and we can add them back in a different form. We can now add a cargo container, go to H2 generator and the landing gear. Let's put it in. As possible. Hold middle mouse, positing everything. This produces a few more resources. Turn off our refinery. So we now only have 250 watts, which requires a lot more. Stop these batteries. We are in the base function of these blocks. Block a bit. Half block. There's corner half block. And half slope light armor block. Back to our half block. That reach. This reach. Also center gets this block. Gives us a nice outline. Battery. Now that this is done, we go to the control panel. It is recharging for 12 hours. It stores power. Use power to the refinery if we need to. So we can now use it back to our battery. Now here, I take out this again. It's our solar panel. Now we check how much iron we have. You see that each one is a 7. Let's give it listen all these panels. Maybe for a next episode we'll try welding up everything as we go along. Loading this side, I want to move this area down. Let's turn off broadcasting, that will help reduce the power we use. Couch. And
Inventory full. Inventory full. Energy low.
Resources.
Inventory full.
To fully charge up, as well as to just process the amount of ores we have, and then from that point on we'll be looking into
Energy
how
low.
we can extend the server, adding more cargo, adding a connecting point,
Energy low.
which is part of the next bit of progression as well, if I'm correct. Check. These are the last blocks we can get after building an O2H2 generator. You then unlock a reasonable amount of blocks. Once we have conveyors, especially, it would be nicer to have. Also appears that it's actually under cargo containers. We can build one of those in the next episode. Off here. Thank you guys for watching. Go enjoy your days, and I will see